Hi, my name is Daryl Conant, and I'm a student of Vince Gironda, and I've been training with Vince for over the past 30 years. Unfortunately, he passed away in the 1990s, and so I was not able to refer to him anymore for answers and nutrition advice and training advice. But as a student, I have always held dear to his programs and to his methods and philosophy, and I want to continue that. And I think that what we have to do as students is to try to correct people when they're doing things wrong. Like, I've seen so many things online that are incorrect interpretations of Vince's exercise. And so what I want to do is I want to clear up one of the exercises for you. And this is an exercise that I find that is phenomenal for developing great-looking legs. Actually, Vince developed this exercise in his gym, but he wasn't the one that invented it. It was Monty Walford was the inventor of this exercise, and Vince really liked the way Monty's legs were developed, because if you look at Monty, I think there's some pictures online, but his legs seemed to come out of his hip, and they had a big sweep to the quads and out to the outside, and it was a great look because it made him look taller, but then the legs looked even bigger than they actually were. So it was, the reason for it is because the rectus femoris muscle, it was more developed at the higher point. So like you see a lot of guys today, and they'll have a good development, a good teardrop, but they'll have the vastus medialis and the lateralis, but then the rectus femoris muscle is kind of, it looks like it's built down below here. So you can kind of see that, the definition down at the low end, but nothing really at the high end. And so at this end, and what this exercise does, it brings it out, so it brings it more prominence out. So that's the whole idea of this exercise, is really to kind of to help create that illusion. And Vince was always talking about the illusion of symmetry and bodybuilding, and so that's kind of what we're going for here. So the idea of the sissy squat is to isolate the legs in a totally different way while keeping your back relatively neutral in terms of the undue compression that can be put on the back, especially if you're doing like a back squat. So this takes that kind of compressive force of off the back and really isolates and puts it onto the legs. Now, what Vince had me do, there's different variations to the set and rep numbers here, but he had me do, I did 5 reps in each position. Now there's 3 positions to the actual sissy squat. There's the knee drop, the burlesque bump, and then the flush out. Now on the 3 exercises, it's very important that you get them down correctly so that it creates more intensity as you're doing the exercise. So what I do here is I use an aerobic step. You want to use a 2x4 or some type of platform that you can elevate your heels. I like the aerobic step because it allows a little bit of an angle to it, and so I can get better positioning on my feet. And so then what you do is you grab the bar, so you want to stand about a shoulder width apart, almost like the same squat position that you would do a front squat in. And then you clean the bar, you bring it up to the top of the chest, and what you want to do, what I do is I take my elbows and I bring them out in front, because you want the elbows to be higher than or at the same level of the shoulder. If you can get them higher, that's great. Depending on your flexibility, it's going to determine that. But you want to keep the elbows up. It's very important to keep the elbows up. If you keep the elbows down, you're going to lose position. That can actually cause you to round out your back, so you don't want to do that. So by keeping the elbows up, it's going to help keep that neutral spine. The first exercise is known as the knee drop. Now, what I want you to do, and the way Vince taught me, was to look down at the ground and to find a point on the ground, so you're kind of almost like you're aiming your knees toward that area, so that you're going to keep your gaze on the ground, and you bring your knees down as low as you can get. I used to be able to get down almost down to the ground, but I have a reconstructed knee, so I can only get down so far now. But I can still get down pretty low, but not as low as I used to. But anyways, it still works pretty well. So I come down. Now the key here to understand with the knee drop is that you want to make sure that your shoulder, your hip, and that your knee are in a complete line as you're coming down. So there's no flexion on the spine at all here. So everything stays nice and straight. So it gets you right down, so it puts the stress right in the quads. You want to get that stretch. And then what you do is when you go down and you come right back up. So you do that 5 times in perfect form. And you don't want to go too fast. It'd be a nice kind of good cadence to it. And so then after the knee drop, we're going to go into what's called the burlesque bump. Now, I think it's the burlesque bump because I don't know that there was a play or something called the burlesque or something like this. And Vince mentioned that it was like some type of a movement that the dancers would do. It's kind of interesting. But anyways, so it's the burlesque bump. So you go down, and now you want to get down as low as you can, like in a squat position. So you bring your butt all the way down, and so that it's lower than your knees. And then you thrust your hips forward. So you want to go into an extension here. So you thrust the hips into extension very quickly and powerful. And then you come back down. And then you come back up. And then we do the third phase, which is the flush out. Now this is putting the two exercises together. So now you go into the knee drop, go into the burlesque bump, and then back up. And knee drop, burlesque bump, and then back up. You do that 5 times. And by the 5th rep, your legs are pretty much smoked because you've actually done 15 reps of constant exercise and you're not turning off the synapse. So the synapse is always going to be lit up here. So it really amplifies the intensity. And so this is the correct way that I was taught from Vince Gironda. You know, there could be some other students out there that have a different variation of it, but again, this is what I learned, and it works best for me, and it really helps my legs develop. So, you know, that's what I got from it. So if you have any questions or concerns about this exercise, or you would like me to show you any other exercise that Vince might have taught, I would love to show you and demonstrate that for you. Just shoot me an email. You can go to my website at darylconant.com, and my email address is there. It's actually darylconant@darylconant.com is my email address. And I'd love to hear from you, get your input. And again, thanks for watching this, and I hope you learned something. Now go out there and go burn out those legs. Take care. Bye.